And in a reversal of an earlier decision, FIFA will allow tailgating at World Cup games at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, the Boston World Cup host committee announced. The committee said on Monday that the shift conforms with local policies that allow tailgating like any other event hosted at the stadium, as there are no venue restrictions or local public safety restrictions in place that would prohibit it. And New Zealand's military said a surveillance aircraft observed what it suspected was North Korea breaking international sanctions in a possible ship-to-ship transfer of illicit goods. While conducting monitoring over the Yellow Sea and East China Sea, New Zealand's Defence Force said on Tuesday that the exchange of goods at sea between vessels was captured by one of its long-range P-8A Poseidon reconnaissance aircraft in international waters near North Korea.
The death toll from a deadly highway bombing in southwestern Colombia has risen to at least 20, the governor of the Cauca region has said. Governor Octavio Guzman said on Monday that the death toll included 15 women and 5 men.
And United States President Donald Trump's administration has fired all 22 members of the board that sets the policies of the government-funded National Science Agency, according to an ex-board member and lawmakers. And the dismissals of the National Science Board, NSB, the policy and advisory arm of the National Science Foundation, NSF, mark the Trump administration's latest move to radically restructure the government and including downsizing the Department of Education and effectively eliminating the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID.
Islamabad High Court, IHC, has summoned Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif in his personal capacity over the delay in the appointment of the finance member to the Telecommunication Appellate Tribunal. Justice Mohsin Akhtar Kayani, who is presiding over the case, issued the directive and informed the Prime Minister that he must appear before the court on May 18 to explain the delay in this important appointment.
And Google may be preparing changes to the Fitbit brand based on new references spotted in app stores and software listings. There has been no official announcement, but recent findings have led to speculation that Google could move Fitbit's software services under a broader Google Health identity. And the Punjab Assembly on Monday passed the Child Marriage Restraint Bill 2026, setting 18 years as the minimum legal age for marriage for both boys and girls and declaring underage marriage a non-bailable offence. Punjab Parliamentary Affairs Minister Muttaba Shujao Rehman presented the bill in the Assembly, but the proceedings began with controversy as lawmakers were not initially provided copies of the draft.
The Federal Constitutional Court has suspended a key ruling of the Lahore High Court that had struck down parts of the Passport Rules 2021, restoring the federal government's authority to block passports and impose travel bans on deportees and suspected human traffickers. A 3-judge bench led by Justice Syed Hassan Azhar Rizvi granted interim relief while hearing an appeal filed by the Directorate General of Immigration and Passports.
Pakistan has made significant progress in digitizing its passport system as authorities push to modernize services and improve transparency for citizens. According to officials from the Directorate General of Immigration and Passports, the Director General chaired a high-level meeting to review ongoing digitalization efforts.
And United Nations. Pakistan told the United Nations Security Council on Monday that it remains firmly committed to a peaceful resolution of the escalating Iran-United States conflict and warning that the continued closure of the Strait of Hormuz could trigger severe global economic and security consequences. Speaking at a high-level UNSC debate on the safety and protection of waterways in the maritime domain. And Pakistan's permanent representative Azim Iftikhar Ahmad underscored the urgent need to restore maritime stability and ensure uninterrupted global trade flows.
Tech giant Google on Tuesday marked the ceremonial start of work on its largest artificial intelligence hub outside of the United States with a groundbreaking ceremony in India. The firm promised in October 2025 to spend $15 billion over 5 years to construct the vast center in Visakhapatnam, a southeastern port in Andhra Pradesh state of around 2 million people, popularly known as Vizag. Islamabad. PTI founder and former Prime Minister Imran Khan received a fourth intravitreal anti-VEGF injection at the Pakistan Institute of Medical Sciences, PIMS, and was discharged on Tuesday morning. According to the hospital spokesperson, Imran last underwent the anti-VEGF intravitreal injection on March 23. His eye ailment, right central retinal vein occlusion, CRVO, came to light in late January. His first medical procedure was carried out on January 24, and he was administered the second dose on Feb 24.
And oil prices are continuing to climb despite Iran's proposal to end its effective blockade of the Strait of Hormuz in exchange for deferring nuclear negotiations with the United States. Brent crude, the international benchmark, rose more than 1% on Tuesday as Tehran's offer failed to assuage traders' concerns about the blockade of the waterway critical for global fuel supplies.
As the evening set in over the Hanif Mohammed High Performance Center on Monday and a gentle breeze eased the blazing Karachi sun, Peshawar Zalmi's players scattered across the facility. It was their only training session ahead of their HBL Pakistan Super League qualifier against Islamabad United. Prayers were offered, the sun soaked in. It was time to get to work.
And armed attackers killed at least 29 people in Gayaku village in Nigeria's Adamawa state, an attack that lasted several hours and left property destroyed, officials said. My heart breaks for the people of Gayaku, State Governor Amadu Umaru Fintiri said in a post on social media as he visited the bereaved community on
The pet food aisle has never been more crowded, which is exactly why Hilary Coles says she was sceptical when Atomic Labs came calling. I had the same reaction you did. Coles told me on a call Monday afternoon, a day before her new company, Golden Child, opened for business. Surely that can't be what people need. Indonesia's president ordered an investigation Tuesday after a long-distance train smashed into a stationary commuter train overnight, killing 14 people and injuring dozens. Officials ended a nearly 12-hour rescue effort near Bekasi Timur station, east of the capital Jakarta, which saw crews prying open mangled carriages following the Monday night collision. They came, they talked, and they left, only to return within a day. That was true of the Iranians, but not the Americans who were to fly in from DC. But last-minute changes to their plans meant they never got on the plane. Some of them were said to be holed up in Islamabad's Serena Hotel, but there was little information available about them. Perhaps, even in this age of Musbat, positive reporting, one can say that the stalemate continues, though those in the know insist there is slow and steady progress behind the scenes. They have been reporting this positively for weeks now, so the rest of us muggles can only hope for the best and point out that the ceasefire is still in place. But none of us can forget that the Strait of Hormuz is still closed and blockaded, supply lines are disrupted, and the lack of trust can cause an accident which may lead to a resumption of hostilities. But in the meantime, all the roads still lead to Pakistan. The Iranians returned here twice over the weekend, while the Americans, too, were nearly here again. Neither one of the two warring countries, nor the others waiting for the conflict to end, can stop praising Pakistan. Indeed, be it local television or social media, domestic and international alike, every platform is full of Pakistan, Its geopolitical role and relevance. There are stories galore and multiple WhatsApp forwards on how Pakistan and its field marshal gained President Donald Trump's attention and approval, as well as Iran's trust. And middle power is now used in sentences about Pakistan as frequently as off-ramp was last year during the May hostilities in South Asia. Indeed, Pakistan is the new middle power on the world stage, no longer dysfunctional and no longer isolated. I have no memory of ever watching a Rambo movie, though one did enjoy wrestler-actor Dara Singh taking on the ferocious dragon with bare hands to save the delicate Mumtaz from becoming its meal. Likewise, one couldn't progress beyond the first 10 minutes of what may be called the poor man's version of Hollywood's Rambo, the Indian movie Durandar. What one could figure out about Sylvester Stallone's legend of Rambo was that wherever the sullen Hulk travelled to upstage or bomb America's enemies, in truth, America lost that war. Rambo travelled to Vietnam and Afghanistan, for example, to carry out his now cliched and much copied daredevil missions. In both countries, the US military suffered humbling defeats. Rambo, according to write-ups from the 1970s, also went to Burma with similar outcomes. Burma threw itself in a tighter embrace of America's leading rival, China. Durandar, too, comes across as the product of a nationalist reverie being thwarted. The brooding Indian Rambo exudes a similarly cultivated aloofness as he goes about single-handedly wrecking his nation's enemies in Karachi's feuding districts. My instinct is that the complement is mutual. Pakistanis have their own genre of movies and narratives diminishing India military like Hollywood movies did with Germans.
Asal, a freelance designer in her 30s living in Tehran, used to get projects from abroad all the time, but after nearly 2 months without the internet, she told CNN by phone, no new projects, no replies. It's like everything just stopped overnight.
Mexican special forces have arrested Audius Flores, known as El Jardinero, one of the top commanders of the powerful Jalisco New Generation Cartel, CJNG, as well as his chief financial operator. Mexico's Security of Security Omar Garcia Harfuch said videos shared by Garcia Harfuch on social media on Monday showed aerial footage of the arrest of Flores as helicopters hovered overhead during the arrest operation, which the Mexican Navy said followed months of surveillance and involved more than 500 troops, 6 helicopters and several planes.
And Snabbit, an Indian on-demand home services startup, has closed a $56 million funding round, confirming TechCrunch's earlier report. Co-led by Susquehanna Venture Capital, Mirae Asset Venture Investments Unicorn Growth Fund, and Bertelsmann India Investments, the company's Series D round values the Bengaluru-based startup at around $350 million, according to a person familiar with the matter. That's up from $180 million about 6 months ago. And existing investors Nexus Venture Partners and Lightspeed also participated alongside FJ Labs. The company has raised about $112 million in total.
Islamabad, emphasizing the importance of increasing exports of locally sourced precious gemstones, the government has decided to establish 3 centers of excellence to improve the production of these natural resources. Chairing a review meeting to align Pakistan's gemstone mining and processing sector with international standards and enhance export, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif also directed policy measures to boost gemstone exports by utilizing domestic resources.
And Islamabad. Country representative of the Global Green Growth Institute, GGGI, for Nepal and Pakistan, Lara Jalojjoki, on Monday said the institute would assist Pakistan in achieving sustainable development with economic growth and climate resilience initiatives. The assurance was extended in a meeting with Federal Minister for Climate Change and Environmental Coordination, Dr. Musaddiq Malik.
Italy has extradited an accused Chinese hacker wanted in the United States for allegedly stealing vaccine research at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. Italian authorities handed over the dangerous foreign hacker to the US following his arrest in Milan last July on suspicion of conducting cyber attacks against universities and other institutions engaged in COVID-related research, the Italian National Police said in a statement on Monday.
London. Britain's Parliament will vote on Tuesday on launching an inquiry into Prime Minister Keir Starmer to determine whether he misled the House of Commons over the appointment of former US Ambassador Peter Mandelson. Any such inquiry could have serious implications for Starmer's future. If the Prime Minister is found to have knowingly misled Parliament, his position would likely become untenable.
And operations delayed by hidden explosives, hazardous conditions beneath ruins. UNDP says clearing rubble may take 7 years in ideal conditions. Palestinian labourers face daily danger from unstable sites. Crossfire risks gaze IA. Palestinians are using war rubble to repave streets destroyed during Israel's assault on Gaza, crushing concrete and metal into pavement under a UN-run project they hope will mark a first step toward rehabilitating their damaged cities. And Islamabad. And the Senate Standing Committee on Economic Affairs on Monday directed the Economic Affairs Division, EAD, and the National Highway Authority, NHA, to halt the tendering process for N45 Chakdara Chitral Road, Arkatak Chitral section until complete documentation and, including feasibility reports and project maps, is submitted and reviewed. The body also reviewed major development initiatives in the communications, energy and urban sectors and expressed serious concerns over transparency and governance and project oversight.
At least 5 people have been killed and dozens injured in a collision involving 2 trains near the Indonesian capital, Jakarta, with reports of passengers being trapped in the wreckage as rescue efforts continue. The crash late on Monday night occurred at Bekasi City's rail station, adjoining Jakarta. Between a commuter line train and a long-distance train, the spokesperson for the commuter line operator, Karina Amanda, told the Reuters news agency.
The US Supreme Court has formally reinstated a redrawn Texas electoral map expected to boost Republican representation in the US House of Representatives, as President Donald Trump's party seeks to maintain control of Congress in the 2026 midterm elections. The ruling, issued on Monday, split along ideological lines, with the court's 6 conservative justices in the majority and the 3 liberal justices dissenting.